Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to the episode. Ooh, we have a good one today. We are going to be talking about the fact that you do not, hear me again, you do not need to take another course. You need to build the business. So, why did I choose this topic today? Well, these are always examples of people that I have met or recently that I have started coaching. So I recently had a call with somebody who had not only taken one training course or two training courses, but three. And my friend, I am not saying that she did like a continuing education class, which is an hour or so, right? She took the same training course that I took. She took it twice and then took another like weekend 28-hour course and still has not earned over, call it $20,000 in 4 years. So that's why we are talking about this because truly, truthfully, it breaks my heart more than it frustrates me because it just means that there's just a disconnect somewhere, okay? So I promise that by the end of this episode, you are going to understand that clinical knowledge and CEO skills are totally different. And if you have been following me for any amount of time, you know this, okay? Whether you believe it or not, that's still, the jury is still out on that, but you've heard it, okay? So when I say you don't need to take another course, you need to build the business, this is exactly what I am talking about. So first, clinical confidence. If you cannot say that the training that you took gave you the clinical confidence, you have to start here. I know some of you guys are just like trying to scab this together. If you took a course that does not give you, I would venture to guess, or I would go out on a limb to say, if it did not give you a complete exercise library, if it doesn't give you like templates, how do you use this information? Then you probably need another course. Okay. If you took a course, and I'm not throwing shade at those courses, I know nothing about them. I'm just saying, after a decade here of being in the trenches with you and taking therapists who knew nothing or didn't have any confidence and then teaching them, I know that you have to have clinical confidence, okay? You have to have a plan of what you're going to do. My friend, planning myofunctional therapy for your clients is not just a grab bag. You're not just willy-nilly taking something out of a hat. You're not just saying, well, if somebody has this, then we'll do some anterior tongue exercises. Or if they can't do this, then you're going to do this. I really think for you to serve your clients the best, you have to have something more than that. So I will stand on this, okay? You have to be clinically confident. You have to feel confident in those skills, okay? If you can't answer that, then maybe yes, you need more training. But please don't go take the same one that failed you the first time. Even if it's cheaper, because some programs will offer you a discount to come back through the course. Don't go take the same course, okay? Because sometimes just getting it from a different perspective is it's gonna make it make sense for you, and it's gonna allow you to, as I call it, chew up the fish, spit out the bones. I like this concept. I like this concept. Ooh, I don't like this one. I'm gonna get rid of that one. Okay, so if that's the case, then maybe you need another course. Just don't take the same one, okay? The next thing, okay, so we're talking about build the business part. Okay, once you can tell me clinically, you feel confident in your skills, you got to build the business. Okay, the next step is your business foundations. This is naming your business. Okay. This is setting up a structure for your business. Are you going to set up an LLC? Get it done. Okay. Shouldn't take you that long. Although I am finding out that some states are a little weird about setting up the LLC. Where I have been, it was like maybe call it $100 and 15 minutes. So I don't care what it's going to cost. You got to do it. If you're going to do an LLC, of course, do your research. Everybody can just be a sole proprietor. And legally, I guess technically, a sole proprietor, an LLC can be a sole proprietor LLC, or it can be a multi-member. So do your research. But you got to do these. Okay. Naming your business, setting up, deciding on your structure. You can decide that you're just going to be a sole proprietor for right now, and that's okay. The legal stuff. Okay. Did you know that you have to have certain things on your website or you're not even going to get indexed? So recently I had an episode where we talked about the visibility gaps that a lot of you guys are struggling with. Your website might not be being indexed by Google because you don't have your privacy policy on there, or you don't have any of the other legal documents on there. So that's a biggie. And then next, your business foundation, I think you need to have a website, okay? So one of the concepts that I teach is something called a MVP, minimum viable program. I've done podcasts on it before. That is just getting the minimum stuff done so that you can open your door and say, hey, I'm open for business. Do you have to have anything fancy before you do that? No, technically you do not. And I don't want it to be the one thing that holds you back. Okay. If you don't have a published website and you meet somebody tomorrow who wants to pay you for therapy, you don't have to say, well, let me get my website done. If they have a problem and you have the solution and they want to pay you for that solution, my friend, done deal. Okay. Done and dusted. Sign that client up. But when you're setting up your business foundations, the website needs to come into play. Why do I think that? Well, first of all, it's 2026. And how do you feel if you go to look up business ABC and have no website? How do you figure out what they're about? How do you contact them? It is 2026, and I think you have to have it. A couple of reasons. It's going to be a tool for you. I will live and die by this. My website is more for me than it is for my customers. Yes, it is the biggest organic growth engine that I have, but it serves me. Okay. I've told you this before. I do not put any effort into anybody until they show up for their exam. That means they pay, they book, they get their confirmation, they fill out their paperwork. They know everything about my process before I even talk to them. Okay. They know what therapy looks like. They have a range of what it costs. They have all that information, and that comes from my website. Okay. So with that said, my friend, we will build your website for you. Okay. I did take a long period of time without doing it, but I am seeing such a need for it. And the reason being is a lot of you guys are paying somebody to build your website who has no idea what myofunctional therapy is. Let me tell you that your girl here will build you a hell of a website, a lot better than what GoDaddy or anybody else is going to create for you, because I'm in the trenches. I know the words. I know how to make sure that you have the information on there that you need. Okay. It's going to be an investment for you, but that's okay. You can invest time or money. Okay. We're going to do 6 pages for you. We're going to do your home page, your about page, your scheduling page, your legal. Okay. Your privacy policy, preparing for a free assessment, preparing for a comprehensive exam. Okay. And if you're working full time, then invest the money. Okay. That was a kind of a side note. So Clinical confidence, you have to have that first. Next, you have to have your business stuff set up, okay? I call that the business diagnostic. So when I start working with somebody, that's the first thing that we go through. Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have an EIN? Do you have a checking account? Do you have your business insurance, your LLC set up, all of that stuff? Because once that's done, you're done with it, okay? Next thing you need to know, my friend, you probably guessed it, your who. Now, this is your person or your passion. Okay, this is micro niching in. I know it's scary, but that is the only way you do not dilute your message is by speaking directly to somebody. Think about it. You are a consumer. Do you ever land on a page or you Google something or you see an Instagram reel or something and you just feel like, oh my gosh, that person is talking to my soul. Okay, that means that person did really great marketing, because some generic something that doesn't mean anything to you just goes right over your head. I have invested tens of thousands of dollars in programs in getting knowledge from other coaches that they spoke to me. They knew exactly what my pain point was. And I was like, halla freaking Luya. They know me. Okay. So knowing your who. Do you know that you don't want to work with children? Okay. I have a client who does not at all, meaning she is not pricing a child package. She's not having anything about children on her website. It is specifically being written to her middle-age ideal customer. And she even is so sure that she doesn't want to see kids that she has a referral plan in place. That's more than I ever did. I mean, I have a pediatric associate, but still, like, she knows. So working on her ICA was so easy because she knows I don't want to work with kids. I want to work with sleep and women, or not even just women. It is for her sleep, but no kids. Okay. So when I say a person or a passion, it's typically one or the other. And it could be even gender too. Like, no, I prefer to work with women, or I like to work with men. And then the passion is just a very, very, very specific niche, if you will. I don't want you saying, hey, I want to work with people who have TMD, tongue ties, neck tension, and sleep. Okay, that you're diluting your message. You're going to pick one of those. So you're going to want your knowledge to be an inch wide and a mile deep. Okay, if it's sleep, is it somebody who just has poor sleep quality? Do they have diagnosed sleep disordered breathing? Is it sleep apnea? Is it upper airway resistance syndrome? So the more niched in that you get, the better your marketing can be. Okay, so that's your who. Next is your what. What are you selling them? Many of you guys, in fact, probably most of you guys, if you have a struggling business, or if you've taken a training and you still don't have any consistent clients or consistent revenue, you have probably set your prices and you have no idea for what. Okay, in my zone of genius, in my programs, in my corner of the world, never am I going to let you set a price when you don't know who you're setting it for. Okay? How can you determine the value of something when you don't even know what it is or who it's for? Okay? So that's why you have to know who your who is. And then your what is what you're going to sell. Never, never, never will I let my clients be a commodity, meaning something that people can call around and price shop. When people call a dental office, how much is your comprehensive exam? How much is your 3-surface filling? No. This is your unique myofunctional experience. What is the price? What does therapy look like? How are you serving them both during the session and after? Are you videoing the sessions? Are they having to take notes? Are you sending them a detailed email? Are you sending them homework sheets? What does that look like? What does customer support look like? Okay. You have to stand out. And this is why we call it your unique myofunctional experience, because what makes you different from me? And please, for the love of all things holy, do not let that be money. Do not let that be money. You do not want to be a per session, low price. That's all you have going for you, okay? Because you're probably going to be a broke, resentful, maybe not in business human. Okay? So you don't want to do that. So once you have your who, once you have your what, then guess what? You get to market. Many of you guys do this all wrong. You do it in the wrong order. And you also think that marketing equals Instagram post. That's not it, okay? Instagram is distribution. How are we going to market? I mean, marketing is just a big fancy term for saying, how do people find out about your business? So there's a lot of options. You come study with me and you're going to learn about long form content, podcasting, video show, or blogging. Most of you guys choose blogging because you can get a ton of bang for the buck. When I talk about SEO, this isn't easy. This is low-hanging fruit, my friend. And then you can distribute it on your social media channels. And you don't need to be everywhere, okay? If your ideal customer is a 60-year-old woman with upper airway resistance syndrome, you're not going to reach very many of your ideal customer on TikTok because that's for the young, hip movers and shakers, okay? So marketing is where you're going to want to be visible where your human is. Who's your human? You have to know that first. Okay. So I just gave you 5 things that you can use to not go, well, I was going to say not to have to go take another class, another clinical training, but if you can't answer number 1 as being clinically confident, then you have to get into LMT 60, because I can guarantee you that course is going to make you feel, you're not going to feel 100% ready because it's something new. You have to go do it, but you're going to have everything. You're going to have everything that you need to know. You're going to have templates. You're going to have an exercise library. For crying out loud, you're going to have Larry. I love Larry. You're going to have Larry, your AI course companion, so that when you have questions, guess what? And it's 11 o'clock at night and you can't email me, you ask Larry and he's going to tell you exactly what I said about it in the course. He's going to give you exactly what I would tell you about it if you and I were having coffee. And he's also going to tell you exactly where to go find it. So I love Larry, and he's super cute. He was really fun to make too. So if you don't have your clinical confidence, you have to start there. Otherwise, if you feel pretty good about that, my friend, let's go. Let's do this. Business foundations, who, what are you selling? Then marketing. Okay. Let's land this plane. So what do you do? What do I want you to do with this? If you're stuck, if you're trained and you're stuck, if you're my Lola, then you want to do 2 things. You want to book your unstuck call, and you want to get into the boot camp. Okay. The Trained But Stuck boot camp is happening in just a few days. So you might not, if you're listening to this in real time, you might not even have time to get your unstuck call done. But the cart for the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist is open until September 9th. So technically after the boot camp, you would have time for that, but you want to be in the boot camp. Okay. Because you are going to not only learn how to set up your AI, you're going to get a crash course in that, but you're going to leave with a very clear understanding of your who and also your what. Okay. Your prices. So you want to do that. And then if you are my Sarah, so you know that you want something more, you don't want to stay in dental hygiene forever, but you're not trained. Your starting point is learn myofunctional therapy in 60 days because you have to have your clinical competency before you get into the PMT, which is the business program. Okay. So if you want to be in that fall cohort, chop, chop, my friend. Okay, that is it. I hope that you understand. Do not go take another training, okay, unless you're not clinically confident. If you're just confused, you have to work on the business stuff. And that is where PMT comes in, because clinical learning and business training are completely different. That is my zone of genius. My expertise is to help you with those CEO crowns, as I've called them before. Those are skills that you have to get outside of your clinical training. They're not guaranteed to be part of it, which is why we have just the business segment, so that I can help you with that. That is a wrap, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back soon, and we are going to talk about starting, simplifying, growing, and also AIing. That's such a mouthful, but I love it. We're also going to talk about AIing your myofunctional therapy business. I will be back soon. I'll see you then.